Hey guys, welcome back. So, I was shaping a pipe yesterday and everything was going really well, and then all of a sudden a flaw appeared out of nowhere. It was really disappointing. I was just getting ready to begin the finishing sanding, and there it was. For those of you who have made pipes before, you know this feeling. It's extremely disappointing, but it gives you an opportunity to explore your creativity. For me, I found an opportunity to create a new video for you all to walk you through some of the ways that I go about correcting problems when I encounter them in the workshop. But let's back up a bit. One of the things that I regularly speak about when I'm speaking to groups or when I'm teaching people how to make pipes is one critical aspect of pipe making: problem solving. Now, we can typically break these problems down into two categories: the ones created by the pipe maker and the ones created by nature. The job of the pipe maker is to refine his or her skills through experience so that you introduce fewer and fewer problems as you gain experience. But nature will always be there to introduce problems into your work, and that's why it's critical to learn how to problem solve on the fly while you're making pipes. Now, back to the problem I want to address in this video. You can see that this shape has lovely grain everywhere, and there's no reason it can't be a smooth pipe. That is, until I began to shape the end of the shank, which I intended to finish in natural briar along with the rest of the pipe. The problem was there was a flaw that we can see here that's far too large to remove, and it didn't terminate until it had entered into the mortise. Now, to resolve this, my first approach was to shorten the shank to see if I could remove the flaw, because at that time I was unsure if the flaw that I was seeing inside the mortise and the one I was seeing on the end of the shank were connected. But as I removed material, I discovered that they were, in fact, connected, and that solution wouldn't work to resolve this issue. Now, I could have at that point sandblasted the pipe, and that would be a reasonable solution. It would help correct the problem on the outside, but it wouldn't resolve the flaw on the inside of the mortise. That one's problematic from a structural perspective and also could potentially leak as you smoke a pipe, and I certainly don't want my customers to experience that. I could have chopped off the shank at this point and inserted bamboo and made a bamboo shanked pipe, and that would have been a reasonable solution. It would have looked beautiful. But I really liked this shape, and I wanted to see if there was a way that I could keep the integrity of the shape, but also correct the problem of the flaw. What I decided to do was to use a false mortise to remove the imperfection entirely. Now, a false mortise is pretty simple. It's essentially a briar plug that's inserted to an oversized hole in the shank. Basically, you make the existing mortise larger, put the plug in, and then drill a new mortise in the plug. These false mortises are usually used for deeply bent pipes to help ensure that the airway is right in the center of the bottom of the mortise. But the problem with that is you get a nice looking mortise and tenon joint. It looks beautiful, but because of the different airway angles, you can never actually ream out the airway with a drill bit. In this case, I wasn't trying to correct for a deep bend. I was just trying to remove an imperfection and to make sure that I had a clean, secure, and durable joint for the mortise and tenon to be connected. But this left one basic problem. While I had certainly corrected the imperfection inside the mortise, I was still left with an imperfection on the exterior of the pipe, on the end of the shank, and that wasn't good. So what I decided to do was maintain the same overall shape on the end of the shank, but to do it in a different material. It's worth pointing out at this point that decorations really didn't start out to decorate pipes. They were there to correct for problems. They were creative solutions to issues that come up in the making of a pipe. Things like ivory, horn, bamboo, precious metals, these were all used to cover up, correct, or replace problem areas on pipes and make them so that they could be used and enjoyed. Now that my false mortise is securely in place, I can chuck it up in the lathe on a pin and turn it flush, and then secure the decorative material on the end. Once the decorative material has been added and the adhesive has cured, All I need to do is shape it and finish it with the rest of the pipe. And so here we are with a finished shape. It's decorated and even improved by the addition of this new material. It's one of the things I love about pipe making, that these little creative flourishes to help correct problems can, in the end, help introduce things that may not have otherwise been thought of. I hope that you all found this interesting, that it enriched your pipe collecting or your pipe making experience. As always, I appreciate you tuning in, and until next time, happy puffing.